Western Montana is one of my favorite places, maybe because it was the exotic land we regularly visited when I lived in the North Idaho Panhandle as a kid. While I've spent most of my Western Montana time as a member of the Glacier National Park mountain goat paparazzi, you got to check some of the other parts out too. I was doing a 10K trail run at the Lolo Pass Visitor Center just over the Idaho border from Montana recently, so we stayed in Missoula. It wasn't too far away. I honestly don't remember if we went there when I was a tiny traveling Idahoan, but I took advantage of it this time. We may have wanted to jump headlong into some hiking, but we had a run late that afternoon, and there's something about hiking for miles before a 6 mile run that didn't seem to be a good idea. Our first stop was the Historical Museum at Fort Missoula.
If you're like me and you enjoy hiking, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking because you've seen too many YouTube animal attack videos and you're constantly looking over your shoulder for a big mountain lion, you can check out some of the museums in town, like the Fort Missoula site, which was originally built in the 1870s.
The grounds surrounding the main building are free of cost. If you'd like to go into the main building, which contains general artifacts, an exhibit on the history of Missoula, and an exhibit about the history of the fort itself, it costs $4 for adults, 3 for seniors, 2 for students, and $10 for a family. If you're a Missoula County resident, in which case you should probably just go drive somewhere instead of watching this, admission is free. The main building is interesting, especially the bits about the fort's history. There's some really cool information about the people who were held there when it was used as an alien detention center during World War II. Information on the 25th Infantry Bicycle Corps is provided. Come on, soldiers on bikes, that's pretty cool. It should make people less likely to taunt bike riders. The grounds are filled with many historical buildings that were relocated to this site as well. That includes the Grant Creek Schoolhouse, built in 1907. All kinds of visitors are passionate about visiting to learn more about education. I'm not sure which part this dog liked best. He declined an interview. Other buildings include a historical church, a library car that served loggers as early as the 1920s, and a guard cabin that helped in firefighting. I found out there was a Tom Cruise mine. It doesn't look like they were short on staff. There are other museums in the area you should check out, including the Missoula Art Museum. Admission is free thanks to museum members and donors. According to their website, they have 6 exhibition spaces, 2 classrooms, and a collection vault. When we were there, there was a sculptural installation exhibit, a photography exhibit, an exhibit featuring abstract drawings, paintings, and prints of coastline, and more. The artwork displayed is changed throughout the year, so check out their website beforehand to see what they have. That's MissoulaArtMuseum.org. Of course, after our museum visits, we got to work heading out to the Lolo Pass Visitor Center. It's not too far away, under an hour. The area that the run covered was gorgeous. If I hadn't been hyperventilating for fun, I'm sure I would have enjoyed it more. This is completely unrelated to the area or any travel stuff, but I finished third among the women in the 10K. We won't talk about how unimpressive the times were overall. We will just focus on the only third place finish I'll probably ever get. Woohoo! Anyway, you should visit the Lolo Pass area. It's very pretty and there are many opportunities to hike and socialize with woodland animals. Hopefully not to be eaten by them. We were pretty pooped by the time we got back and got pizza from Tarantino's in Missoula. Mostly because everything else was closed and Taco Bell on vacation doesn't lead to fun times in the car. Here's a screen cap from their website about their menu. We had the Quattro Formaggi, probably also a poor choice for car time. As you can see, it was pretty cheap, $10 for a large. We also had some breadsticks with the tastiest dipping sauce, tomato basil. That was about $5, so $15 pre-tax and tip for 2 or 3 people. Acceptable. The next day we couldn't do a super long hike, but if you want to read about some good ones, there are a bunch of websites. I looked through the Forest Service's website. They had a section on the Lolo National Forest. We stayed pretty local to Missoula. I am a homegrown Idaho spud, so I definitely like getting out there and hiking. This is the Rattlesnake Trail just outside of town. It's super pretty and there are dogs and bikers and joggers everywhere. It's so awesome, in fact, that I bet even Oscar here would probably venture out of his garbage can to check it out. The Rattlesnake Trail links to a bunch of other trails as you walk along. It's about 18 miles long. We had to drive back that day, so we went over the first few miles and came back. We enjoyed watching dogs and cyclists in their natural habitat on woodland paths. There were lots of runners too. It made me want to start jogging with them, but people don't like it when you run after them for some reason. When we finished up, we had a little bit of time for lunch and some people watching. We headed to El Cazador. They had vegetarian friendly enchiladas. I think the Beatles are wrong. All you need are enchiladas. I had the cheese and onion one. It came with rice and beans and was under $8. So you could have a meal for two with a 20% tip for about $20. Cheap and cheesy? What else do you need? The last thing we did was enjoy people creeping. There's actually a carousel. Community members helped put it together by donating their time, services, and materials, and it opened up in May 1995. Donations to keep it running are appreciated. We didn't ride on the carousel. Our food to stomach space ratio may not have allowed it. People were certainly having fun though. There were also people floating and kayaking on the Clark Fork River. Some people even surf it. What? It was pretty toasty out. We were a little jealous of the water merrymaking. It also reminded me of my college city, Boise. If only I had color-coordinated adult floaties, I would have been on it. So, Missoula. Hiking, museums, carousels, some cheap, cheesy food, and river shenanigans. Check it out!